Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Veronica and today we have quite a big build to see. So if you remember a couple of weeks ago, maybe about a month ago actually now, I have finished up my 1 million simoleon scenario. So my whole family, they got 1 million of simoleons, and now you probably see a little bit of a different number down here because I have already made a house. I know what the house looks like, and you will probably see that right now. And I think I'm not gonna blabber all that much just now without a build in the background because anyway, we have quite a big build to see, so let us get started, I think. So I believe that my PC is probably gonna struggle a little bit with this whole build, and I don't think that that is a build that you might want to download for yourself if you want to play with this house, just because this build is worth 1 million of simoleons and a little bit extra because I went a little bit over budget, and I know that sounds a little bit weird, especially considering that our budget was like literally 1 million of simoleons. But that was mostly because I was not going to go for like 1 million exactly, but I was trying to go like somewhere close to that, especially considering that lots of these size are not that numerous in the game, and these slots do cost quite a bit as well. So yeah, this whole house is gonna cost a little bit more than 1 million of simoleons, and forgive me please, but actually I'm not asking for an apology about that because that was kind of expected probably. So anyway, let me quickly say some stuff about all of these scenarios that we used to have. About a year ago, I was getting a little bit bored with just mundane playing of The Sims 4, like just the usual gameplay, and even with 100 Baby Challenge and with Legacy Challenge, I was still getting a little bit bored. So I have decided that probably I should start something a little bit more fun for myself, something that is going to be a little bit like not my usual gameplay. So I have decided that I should probably go and try and some scenarios because they're not for nothing. Like they are out there in the game for us to be able to play with them, to figure out how we want to play if we haven't played The Sims. And I think that they are a fun way to find for ourselves ways that we did not use the game yet. Because as for me, I don't know. I was playing The Sims since I was maybe 6. I started with The Sims 1 game. And I have played it over and over and over again, and I usually played with Making Magic, and I played all the same way every single time. Like, bought the cheapest house, my Sims did not work, they were just grinding on the spells and did nothing else. And with The Sims 2, I did pretty much the same, but my Sims usually did grind on the skills. With The Sims 3, probably either a career or maybe skills too. And with The Sims 4, maybe I play 1 or 2 generations. They usually live in a house, they make money, and they work and they have a job. Like they not hustle, they just have a job, and that is their main income in the game, as for me. But usually my Sims do grind skills quite a bit, so if I was able to dig up some of my older saves, and I doubt that I can do that because they were lost with my previous PC and with all of those like Windows reloadings that I did over the years. So probably if I did find something like my oldest saves, some of my sim skills would be probably maxed, and I think that maybe a few at least. Like I used to max out like cooking, fitness, maybe some of the handiness. Maybe I usually never played with fishing skill actually, but sometimes I did, but usually I didn't. And I was just saying that all to tell you that my usual way of playing The Sims 4 used to be just having my Sims, setting them up, like getting some money for them to have a big house, maybe moving them into like a huge but empty house because they did not have any money after they bought like a huge house, like they did not have money to furnish that. And then I would just start grinding either for money or for furniture, I would say, or usually for the career. And that was just my usual gameplay. Like I was trying to get money specifically with careers. I usually did not hustle. I usually did not play like any different ways. Like my gameplay was just your Sims start with the starter funds and they slowly get their money through the career. And in here, with this scenario, I have just decided that I should probably try and hustle. Yeah, we can get all of the money through the careers, of course, but what if I'm gonna just go and try and hustle? Like, what if I'm gonna just get some money from maybe my Sims will be, I don't know, they will try and write songs for the violin. They will write books. They will garden. Like they will paint probably and do stuff like that. Of course, throughout the whole time of my Sims living in this whole challenge, because we actually did have 3 whole generations in here. They did work too, because working is kind of a nice supplement if you try a challenge like that. So we did get some money from that, but the majority of our money did actually come from hustles. Like the majority of our money we did get just from all of the hobbies that we've got. So that was a fun challenge for me because I have figured that if I want to make money, nectars is a go-to choice and dumpster diving. And dumpster diving is a little bit easier because it doesn't require that much time as nectars, because you can get like immediate money. If you want to get rich with nectars, you do need to wait quite a bit of time. So in here, first, of course, we have tried to make money with just painting. Then my Sims got married and they were working too. Like one of them was in a painting career, another one was in a fitness career. And fitness career actually sucks in terms of making money because it doesn't make money at all. Like even in a higher level of that career, you did not make money. Like that sucked. That literally sucked. And paint career did bring us a little bit better money than fitness career, of course, but most of our money during that time, during our first generation, we did get mostly either from our painting hobby or from our woodworking hobby. And also we did have back then a little bit of a gardening hobby and also a little bit of a flower arranging hobby. So that was also a nice way to make money. And actually flower arranging in combination with the sales table that we've got in some of the packs is kind of a useful way to make money too, because if you're flower arranging, that some of the high level flower arranging, they do cost like 1,000 of simoleons, maybe 800 simoleons, but with those flower arrangements you are going to be able to make like maybe 5,000 simoleons or 8,000 simoleons, which is literally not bad for one piece of flower arrangement. Like that is literally not bad because it doesn't take that long to make a flower arrangement, and in the same time you get decent money. So I was using flower arrangement quite a bit in the very beginning of this challenge too. But then when Clifford was born, I have decided that we are gonna just start and hustle here. So Clifford did not have a job. For most of the time that he existed, he actually did have a job for quite a short period of time, and that was his barista career, which doesn't bring all that much money. It's just like 100 of simoleons per day, but that is still something too. And Clifford was mostly either dumpster diving or later he was nectar making. So while dumpster diving, Clifford actually made quite a bit of money because sometimes even if nobody's using your dumpster except for you and your plates, which you're gonna throw away in the dumpster just to make money from at least something, you can get stuff from there, like, I don't know, a 15,000 simoleon bat, or maybe the most expensive violin in the game, or something like that. And this kind of stuff from dumpster, if it is furniture, it goes directly into your household inventory. And there is a slight glitch that is involved in this money making scheme because first of all, you're not throwing away the furniture. Like that, of course, that is just a little bit like set off by the game, but that's fine. But the little glitch I'm talking about is the fact that the furniture can be broken from the dumpster, but if you don't put it out anywhere from your household inventory, you can sell it for a price of an okay object. Like you can find a burned 15,000 simoleon bat. If you're gonna put it out from your household inventory somewhere on the lot, you're gonna be able to sell it for like 10 simoleons. If you do not do that, you're gonna be able to sell it for 15,000 simoleons. So be careful with that. And I did learn my lesson because a couple of times I did sell some expensive stuff after sticking it out on the lot, but it was off camera. It wasn't in this challenge, but in this challenge I did not do this kind of mistake because I already knew about it. So we did get quite a bit of money from dumpster diving because we were getting like insane expensive stuff from there. And also, while Clifford was dumpster diving, his father Chester was able to make some extra money from candle making. That wasn't that big of amount of money, of course, but that was still some tiny little but decent money. And later, when Clifford's parents had died, Clifford started to play guitar and violin, and that was another extra bit of money that we did get because if you have high enough level of violin or guitar, you're gonna be able to start writing songs. And this way of making money was kind of okay, but in the same time it is a little bit annoying because you cannot post one more than one song at a time. Um, this is actually the annoying part because you can post one song every week, and either like one song for guitar, one song for violin. You can post songs from different musical instruments simultaneously, but you cannot post songs from a couple of songs from one musical instrument, and that is annoying. You cannot publish the songs like in a bunch, and that is why I did not use this kind of making money because it wasn't efficient. Like you need to grind at first to get high enough level of musical instrument to be able to just write a song, and then you cannot even publish several songs at one time. Like why would I do something like that? So I didn't. I tried that with just guitar and violin, and later I didn't even bother because it was bringing me like maybe 600 simoleons per day, but that is nothing. That's literally nothing in terms of other things that we did in here. Later, after Clifford got a little bit bored from dumpster diving, as I have mentioned that, actually I got a little bit bored from dumpster diving because it gets a little bit repetitive. I have decided that maybe Clifford should continue with something like nectar making. So Clifford was working with nectars, which are from the horse ranch. And by the way, the dumpster diving is from Eco Lifestyle, candle making is from Eco Lifestyle too, flower arrangement is from the seasons, and everything else that I have mentioned before is from the base game. So most of the stuff that I was using was just from a limited amount of packs, and mostly I was using horse ranch, Eco Lifestyle, and base game stuff. So Clifford later he was nectar making, and nectar making was, I don't know, I got sent for us in this challenge because with nectar making we actually made the most money that we've ever made in this challenge. So while we were making nectars, we did not get all the money like all at once, like right away. But when your nectars are finally aged, and if you have a sales table, you're gonna be able to sell them with a 300% markup. And this way, some of the nectars were like in around like 100,000 of simoleons, like not 100,000 of simoleons, but maybe like 30,000 simoleons, which is a huge amount of money because if you sell just 10 of these kind of nectars, it's 300,000 of simoleons. And I think that half of our funds was actually made with this little treat from the horse ranch. And also, by the way, from the horse ranch, we were using the prairie grasses to get money just because sometimes in the prairie grasses you can get some expensive collectibles. Sometimes it can be finely aged nectars, and this way you will not have to wait for all of this time just to age your nectars to be able to sell them properly. So I was using prairie grasses quite a bit too. They are from the horse ranch as well. So horse ranch is a kind of nice pack to be able to make some money in this game, and also eco lifestyle. Clifford was making most of his money from the prairie grasses, also from the nectars, and also from some music writing and dumpster diving. And Clifford actually made us the most amount of money that anybody else has made. Then we had Annabelle, and when Annabelle was growing up, I had tried to get some of the money with logic skill. If you use a telescope, like that huge telescope from the base game, you are going to be able to get some space prints. Each of them is 200 simoleons, and that is a nice way to make your money if you're still a child, if you cannot work or make anything valuable. And I was trying to do something like that with Annabelle, and while she was a kid, she did make us some amount of money, which was nice. But later when she aged, it like wasn't that impressive anymore. So I have decided that later Annabelle has started writing some books. Also, Annabelle has tried some gardening, but then Clifford took that. And also Annabelle was trying a lot of fabricating on that fabricator that we got from the Eco Lifestyle. That wasn't a lot because dumpster diving is a little bit more efficient because fabrication actually takes quite a bit of time. And that can be annoying sometimes because not all of your fabrications are gonna succeed. Some of them are failing. And that is annoying, of course, especially when you're trying to make money and when you do not like failing, and when you're playing on short lifespan and your Sims try to make the most amount of money they can make from their short life. But Annabelle, was mostly fabricating and writing some books, and when she was writing some books, she actually got like the most amount of money that she has ever made. Because writing books is not that difficult, it's just literally all you need is a computer, so it doesn't require all that much of initial investments from your Sims. And if you have a computer, your Sims are going to be able to write books. And of course, the first couple of books are going to be just like 4 simoleons of royalties per day. But when their skills get higher, they can get like 500 simoleons per day. And you can post several books simultaneously, unlike songs. So if you have like 10 books published, you can get like 5,000 simoleons per day. And that is a great amount of money. And also, of some of the passive ways of making money, Clifford has finished a money aspiration which gave him a trait, and that was a very useful trait because that money aspiration, which is just like asks you to have either money in your Sims like household funds, and it requires your Sims to make money, is very useful in this kind of challenge because it is slow when you're getting started, but then when you finish this kind of aspiration, you get a trait. I don't remember exactly how that trait is supposed to be called, but with this trait, your Sims start getting like 5% of their household funds back on their in their household funds every week. So when my Sims had like 100,000 of simoleon, they were getting 5,000 of simoleons added to their household funds every week, like it was on Saturday in my game. So that was very useful because when we got to like 600, that is 30,000 simoleons a week without doing anything at all. So if your Sims are already rich and you want them to get richer, that is a nice way to do that, actually, is to just have a trade that gives you money. So I was using the trade quite a bit of too. So we got like maybe 100,000 simoleons from that, from just that. So I was kind of okay with that. And we also have tried taking some money from the collectibles too, by the way, in this challenge, and that were frocks. And I have tried some semi capsules, but that did not go actually really far because I have figured that maybe from the whole collection you're gonna get like probably like if you take one piece of the collection of the whole collection, you will probably get like 20,000 simoleons with the markup if you're gonna sell it with the markup. But that doesn't go that far in this challenge because getting a whole collection takes quite a bit of time, and there are better ways to make money, as for me. And by the way, in the very end, I might just say that the most leaders, like in the whole making money scheme in this game, are nexters, dumpster diving, and also selling outfits if you have high school years. If you go to that like boba tea bar, in there you're going to be able to just create outfits and then sell them. And I have tried to sell them for like reasonable prices, like 100 simoleons. Those outfits did not sell that well. But when I have tried to make just an outfit, just effortless outfit, I have just made an outfit and I didn't even bother how that looked, like just random stuff. And I did set a price for that of 100,000 simoleons, and it got sold. And I have seen in YouTube charts and somewhere on TikTok some people who were selling outfits on Trendy for like 1 million of simoleons. So you can get immediate fortune from that. I did not go that way because it was a little bit cheaty, but I have tried selling one outfit for 100,000 simoleons, and that did work. So one outfit I think can go. Like we have seen that it's a little bit cheaty, and we have decided we are not doing that anymore. But we are counting that one time that we did that. So I have tried that. That did work. That is okay. But if you consider that cheating, you can just not do that. I did that once, and I decided that I'm not gonna do that anymore. And that was a very good one because it's like literal minimal effort. Like all you need to do is come to that shop once. You need to just create an outfit, then you go set it to sell, and you go home and you wait. And if it doesn't get sold, you wait again, and then somewhere a little bit later, probably it is gonna sold. So that is like one little trick, a little bit cheaty probably, to be able to make money in here. But I did that once and I figured that yes, it does work. But I'm not gonna do that because as for me, it is a little bit cheaty. So it was a little bit of a stretch of me trying to do that even once. But I did it once and that's it. And by the way, of other crafts that you can make and sell online in The Sims, I have tried knitting, and knitting was kind of fun because it kind of built your Sims fun. Like they're feeling fine when they're knitting something, they are get like some fun moodlet and stuff. But you need Nifty Knitting for that, so that is a separate pack. If you do not have that, like I would not suggest you to buy this pack just for sake of making money because it is not the best way to make money in the game. You're gonna be much better off with horse ranch if you want to make money. And then with knitting, you need to sell that on Plopsy, and on Plopsy, stuff doesn't get sold so well. Like sometimes some of the knitted stuff that Clifford has made was not being sold for like weeks in the game, and I was just donating that in the end, so he was just wasting money with that. And now I think, as I have kind of told you all that I could have told you about the whole process of making money that we had in this game, probably now that we are somewhere around like 20 minutes in this video, it is probably a nice time to start talking about the build because after all, it is a build video. So as for this build, you have seen that we are building on a 64 by 64 lot. That is a huge lot. And as for the ways I was trying to make this house worth 1 million of simoleons, I was using real landscaping. I wasn't using debug landscaping. So this way I was able to spend like the whole 100,000 on just like house boxes and landscaping. So that was a little bit of a win as for me. And as for the house boxes, I was not trying to be extra, but I had to be extra in the variant. So out here we are gonna have actually three structures on this whole lot. One of them is the house itself, another is gonna be like a tavern, I might say, like a fun area where maybe Clifford and Annabelle are not gonna stop hustling. Maybe they're gonna open a business for them. And I was not able to try and open like the whole hustling business for them because Business Me Hobbies actually did come out after I have finished it all up with this challenge, so I did not try it out. Of course, I could have, but I did not. And by the way, actually, yes, of making money, we tried to be landlords. That didn't go so well. We didn't make that much money, but sticking some money in the real estate is maybe okay in real life, but in Sims it was a little bit annoying because you're not getting your investment money from your houses being built. So it's not in your household fund. So you do not get all of this money back every other week. So anyway, back to the build. So we have here three structures: a house, a tavern, and also we have a stable. So I decided to dedicate a little area of, not the little area, actually quite maybe around the third of this whole lot to a horse, which we do not have. But I was imagining that actually this whole challenge has started in Chestnut Ridge. So it is gonna be kind of nice if in the very end I'm gonna build my Sims a ranch. So as you probably have guessed, as you already probably have seen, this whole house is actually a ranch out here. So I was trying to spend quite a bit of money with just using the real landscaping, with using some of the real stuff in here. I was not trying to use the very expensive pieces of furniture and stuff out here because I was thinking that that was a little bit cheaty. And a little bit later, you probably are gonna see how I have wasted most of the money on these whole builds because the build itself, yes, it is a million of simoleons, of course, but the house itself, the lot itself, and the tavern itself are not that expensive, but basements are, and not basements are, but nectar sellers are. Even without nectars, actually, I was thinking that I will need to go a little bit in a cheaty way. I will need to go and grab some of the nectar bottles from the gallery, and I will have to stick them in the basement, but I did not do that in here because apparently I did not need to do that in here. And with the whole house, I was not trying to spend all of the money that I do need to spend out here with just sticking the most expensive pieces of furniture everywhere around here. Actually, at first I have tried, and me furnishing the house itself right now, as for you, is actually my second attempt trying to furnish it, because at the first attempt I did start going for expensive furniture, and then I figured that that is actually not the style that we have everywhere around the house, so I'm not gonna do that because it doesn't match. I have done already mismatching exteriors and interiors, and I do not like the way that looks. So I have decided that I will try and go a little bit more like matchy. So of course, somewhere around this house we do have expensive appliances, like we do have the most expensive computers in the game, these 10,000 simoleons PCs. Of course, we also do have some expensive art pieces, but in the same time, the main interior of the house doesn't look as if it was trying to be expensive. And with some expensive tricks, actually, these nectar bottles holders, like those storage pieces, they are kind of expensive. Each one of them is 300 simoleons. So if you are stacking them and if you are stacking them quite a bit, that is adding up. So that was one of the ways that I was trying to spend quite a bit of money in here. And also the other way was when I was trying to stick bookshelves, I was using those like singular, like one shelf bookshelves from the booknet kit. And each one of them, if you stick like four of them, it looks the same as if you would stick like one 4 shelves tall bookshelf. But at the same time, it is more expensive. So that was another way of me trying to stick some expensive stuff around the house. And of course, in the very end, I was a little bit like underspent, like 100, somewhere around 50,000 simoleons, I think. I was sticking around some nights after that because, there are night sculpture in this game which are 8,000 simoleons each, so I would not pass this opportunity to make this whole challenge a little bit easier for myself, because actually for this whole build I spent 2 whole weeks, and that is with all thinking what I should build, that is with all literally laying out the lot like in the game, and that is with all furnishing. And furniture did not take me that long because furnishing, I don't know. I'm kind of prone to overcluttering in this game, so overcluttering the whole house was not that hard for me in here. But in the same time, like figuring out what exactly I want to build for here, because that is a big build. I wanted to make a little bit special. I want it to look good, and I want it to kind of represent the scene that we live in here. It was difficult to figure out what exactly I wanted, so that is why it took me so long. But I think that in the very end, it turned out to be kind of nice. I think that this whole house kind of does represent Clifford and Annabelle, and it does look like ranchy as for me, and I do really like the way the whole house look. And maybe I have stolen some of the ideas from the odd simmers and with the whole layout of the lot, probably because I have seen somewhere somebody just sticking the same sunflower field that I did stick out here in front of the house. But I think that maybe it's not stealing ideas, maybe it's just like looking at that and thinking like that was a good idea and embracing that and doing that too. Like, I'm not making money from here, so I doubt that that should count as stealing. So anyway, out here we have a sunflower field in front of the house, and that looks cute. That looks ranchy as for me. So I think that that is a nice choice that I have made somewhere around the whole building process of this house. And as you probably have seen, some of the furniture that I was picking is mostly like rustic horse ranch furniture, but I was in the same time trying to kind of incorporate some of the tiles, some of the wood floorings that look rustic, but in the same time they are very expensive. Like that wooden flooring that I was using literally everywhere, it looks as if it was worn out already, as if somebody was walking on and off of that. But in the same time, it is one of the most expensive wood floorings in the game, so that was not hard for me to waste that amount of money in this challenge, because it is not a challenge, it is just built a million of simoleons house. And at first, of course, I was tempted to build like a classical mansion with a base game, because if you build mansion-like houses with a base game, they are turning out to be kind of expensive usually, because base game stuff, especially the one that looks fancy, has fancy prices. That's what I can say. But in the end, I think that this whole house turned out to be kind of nice. It looks ranchy, as I have said already, as I have said several times already, I think, and maybe you're a little bit annoyed that I'm repeating myself. I just think that as we have tried and did not try to put like the expensive looking stuff around this house still in some of these parts does looks very expensive, but in the same time I think that it kind of looks cozy and nice, and it looks very warm as for me, and that looks like a house where I would probably like to spend a summer in because it looks cozy. It doesn't look that expensive. Of course, it has hardwood stuff everywhere, which is very expensive in real life, and in The Sims it's not, surprisingly. But with all of this stuff, in the end, the house looks kind of cohesive as I'm seeing that, and I'm actually very proud of the way this house turned out to be. So I hope that you will like this video in the very end when we are gonna come to the very end, because it's still gonna be a while because my speed build is around 40 minutes long, maybe a little extra than 40 minutes long. I might even say that it is probably closer to somewhere around like 50 minutes long or close to an hour. And that is simply just because I had to spend like the whole million of simoleons. And unlike real life, the whole million of simoleons goes really far in the game. Like, I know that in the US, in real life, if you have like a million of simoleons, in some areas of the US, that's gonna be like a studio apartments. But in a world where I live, million of dollars is probably gonna go like really far. I think that in the country where I live, it probably is gonna go like for a usual person, like for a simple person, like maybe I am, like in for more than a lifetime, maybe for several lifetimes, but that is just now. But I know that in some areas of the US, that wouldn't go as far as it did in here. I think that in some areas of the US, you won't be able to buy this kind of ranch for $1 million, but out here, we did make quite a bit of ranch. And I think that out here, probably in some areas of this whole build, it is kind of visible that I do struggle to spend this amount of money in the game, because this amount of money in the game goes really far. Like, if you have million of simoleons in The Sims, you can really rebuild the whole town of Newcrest out there. And that is 15 lots, and one of them is kind of huge. So, in The Sims, million of simoleons would go really far, and out here I am making just a ranch with this money. But of course, I had to go like on some tricks and some interesting stuff to try and waste this amount of money. Like, of course, I had to embrace the fact that Clifford once was playing a violin. So I do have a violin in the house, but this violin in the house is actually a 15,000 simoleon violin from the base game, which is the expensive one, because I could have stuck there like the cheaper one, which is like 600 simoleons or somewhere around that. But I decided that if I'm sticking violin anyway, and if they look not that much different from each other, why don't I stick something that is a little bit more expensive? Like, that's gonna make the challenge easier for me. Why would I want to make this whole challenge more difficult for me? But where I did struggle with spending money and with sticking everything around here is with the garden. Because as for the garden, of course, I wanted to stick out there a big garden, because at first Clifford's parents were gardeners, and then Clifford was a gardener too. Because with gardening, you can make quite a bit of money, and I use gardening quite a bit actually in my real life gameplay, usually off camera, because I don't use gardening all that much on camera because that requires a lot of focus. And when I'm trying to record a video, I don't have it all that much. So with gardening, I usually do not go all that far off on camera, but in real life, I usually do. And I like grafting plants, I like collecting plants, and I usually try to avoid duplicates so that all of the plants are kind of the same for my Sims. I usually try to avoid that. So usually as for the gardening, I'm using quite a bit of Cottage Living pack, because Cottage Living has grocery shopping, and with the grocery shopping from the Cottage Living, you are gonna be able to just pick like one piece of every single fruit that they have, every single vegetable that they have, and they kind of often do have some rare fruits and vegetables like dragon fruits. Of course, they usually don't have something like a death plant or something like that, but stuff like that you can get from the Realm of Magic shop, because out there, if you go to the Realm of Magic, you're gonna be able to visit some of the vendors, and they sometimes do have something like a death flower, and that is actually kind of a fun way to make a little bit more of money on gardening in The Sims, I would say, because if you have expensive fruits and vegetables, and if they are in high quality, you are going to be able to get quite a bit of money from that. And out here with the gardening, I also have decided that even though, yeah, I did stick a garden just like I usually do, I did not want to stick in that garden like placeholders, like real plants from the game, not the ones that are harvestable and stuff, but the ones that are just like there for the view, like landscaping plants. I could have, but I didn't. But I was scouting the gallery out here just for all of those plants, and it's usually not that difficult because you just go in the gallery and you plants and you filter by most popular and you get what you need. So of course, on the gallery I was finding the plants that I did need to get, and I was really trying to fill the whole garden out here because of course I could have left the garden like just empty and boring and stuff, but I have decided that I don't want to do it. So out here in the garden, of course, we have the whole set of plants. I don't know if you have a mega PC, and if you just want to play in the house like that, you can of course download that to your game. You can play in here, and that probably is going to be kind of fun for you because out here we have like all different kinds of plants, and you probably are going to be able to finish up the whole plant collection from the base game out here. But of course, you are not going to be able to download this house if you have base game only because, yeah, we do have quite a bit of packs out here because I couldn't have used just base game for a house, which is like the whole million of simoleons, and especially for ranch, which I'm building in the horse ranch world already. So, of course, that's an expensive house. And by the way, one little thing that I might tell about this whole house is I completely have forgotten a mailbox. So you will need to state it out here by yourself because, of course, as I have forgotten the mailbox, it's gonna spawn like literally in a random spot on the lot. But yeah, I did already stick this house in the gallery, so I'm not gonna re-upload it out there because it was there for a couple of days already. But anyway, as I have finished with the garden now, we are kind of slowly going to the tavern, and as I'm gonna figure out just where we are gonna be able to go downstairs in the tavern, we are gonna start going into the nectar cellars, and I think that the whole nectar cellar part I'm gonna cut out from the final video because that is a little bit annoying because the game was starting to get like very glitchy during that time because we already have spent quite a bit of money out here. So yeah, the game, when it has a lot of detail, gets quite glitchy, so it was a little bit hard for the game at all to try and just load my nectar cellars because out there we had quite a bit of areas, but that literally does look like, I don't know, a very expensive nectar cellar. But I was trying to make it dark and a little bit creepy probably, but I think that I have managed that not so bad. But you will probably see that because we don't even have that all there much lighting, but we do have there. That's because I'm imagining that maybe Clifford is a math nerd. He probably is just sitting out there and counting how much nectar bottles he has and for how much he's gonna be able to sell them. And if you really do want to play in this house, we do have quite a bit of gardening stuff in the garden, of course. And in our garden in this house, we also do have quite a bit of grapevines. So if you're gonna just plant all of those grapes and if you later are gonna make quite a bit of nectars from those grapes, then probably you're gonna be able to make quite a bit of amount of money. But I know that this house is for those who have made the whole money they did want already, but maybe you want to make more. Like who knows? Maybe you do want to make more. My Sims definitely did want to make more, so they did. And of course, when I was just starting to make the nectar cellars, I had 600,000 simoleons, and when I have finished, I had almost zero. And that is because these nectar cellars, they are occupying the whole basements, the whole two basements of this house. That is a lot of space. That is a lot of columns and spandrels. That is a lot of those nectar shelves, which are 300 simoleons each. So yeah, all of these hallways filled with those nectar shelves is a lot of money. So yeah, I think that I have probably went a little bit overboard with the whole nectar storage because I don't know how you need to play to be able to fill it all completely. I was imagining maybe you are extra. You all are extra in this game, and you would probably want to fill it all up with nectars. And yeah, of course, this whole build is a lot of grinding on my side. It is a lot of like doing and repeating stuff on my side because With the whole landscaping, we have quite a bit of similar patches everywhere, so they look kind of similar everywhere, of course. And with nectar sellers, of course, they are just doing and repeating all of the same process out here. So I think that right now I should probably go back into the game and show you what in the very end we have ended up with, because I think that is exactly what we all came here for, didn't we? So this is what the final product of this whole build looks like. So out here we have a lot of like dirt pathways everywhere around. When you go out here, you go through this stringlet archway, which kind of is built in into these side kind of walls. It looks really nice in the evening, so I'm kind of in love with that. So that is why I did it out here. And also, we do have out here in the front of our house a sunflower field, which looks much better somewhere around the sunset, because the hats on sunflowers do really get like lit from that. And we do have quite a bit of landscaping everywhere else. Like we do have a truck, we do have attachment to that. We do have a cowboy gnome. Also, we do have some sitting areas everywhere around the whole exterior of our house. I would like to stick my mailbox somewhere around here, but I did not do that. You would know where to stick it later. Like I would stick it somewhere out here, like right directly in front of our sunflowers, so that looks kind of nice. And right here on the left, we do have entryway to our horse area. In our horse area, we do have like all of these like dirt area out here with some training equipment. Also out here, we do have a couple of bowls for horses, area where you can get some hay. Also, we do have a feeding area for our horse, drinking area for our horse, and another feeding area for our horse. And out here on the inside, we do have literally the same, some storage, and also we do have a couple of stables. So your horse has some space to hang out in here. And out here, we have a second exit just in case you want to go out on this side, because out here we do have some stuff for horses too. Like we are imagining that this part is like kind of part of our property. Like actually it's supposed to be like all of these which is supposed to be fenced in is a part of this property. So this equipment is also ours, at least it's supposed to look like that. So anyway, as for the whole other exterior, if you go directly into the front, you go out here to this kind of like maze of pathways. I would say probably through here you can access this area too, but through here you can either go to our tavern or you can go around our garden and go to the back door of our house, which is somewhere out here. We have a dumpster, of course I did not forget about it. Also we have like a secret tiny little fire pit, I would say, out here. You can literally stick out there anything you want to stick, like maybe outdoors dining area, or maybe you want to stick out there, I don't know, some playground equipment or something like that. I don't know, a cow plant, a death trap, something like that too. Also, we have a spaceship. I was just thinking that that might be a nice hobby for a rich person like Clifford and Annabelle are right now. And out here we do have a telescope, which actually is kind of nice in an area like that, because out here you can look directly into the sky because we have a lot of it. And here we have a fire pit, and here is our tavern. We are gonna go there a little bit later. But the rest for now, let us go to the main house. So as for the main house, on the front porch, we do have a chess table, we do have some decor, some lights, and if you go through here, you enter right into our living room. Our living room is, I was imagining, a rustic cowboy style, but with expensive appliances. Like we do have an expensive TV and expensive stereo. And in here we have some plants around everywhere, some clutter, so you can read out here, you can watch some TV out here, play your PlayStation too, read some more stuff, listen to the music, like just hang out. If you go through any of these archway, you are gonna access the kitchen. In the kitchen, we do have a couple of nectar racks. Also, we do have everything you might need for the kitchen. This area of the kitchen is not functional without an island, because these and these are the only two spaces where your steams are going to be able to cook. These two chairs are attached to the island. This one is not. So this is like a four chair. But I was just thinking that without it, it would be these two set too far apart, and I would not like something like that. So our kitchen is mostly done from the country kitchen kit and horse ranch, of course. So out here we do have quite a bit of stuff going on around. We have some nectars laying everywhere around. We have some boxes, just stuff everywhere around. Through here you can access, through these like spandrels, you can access our dining area. In here we have a cozy round table with some bookshelves, expensive art, chicken, not duck this time, but a chicken. Also we do have a huge nectar cellar, I would say, like nectar rack. It's literally huge, and this area is 2 stories high. So what I like about areas like that, if you stick all of this stuff into your household inventory, then later when you're gonna have Christmas, what you're gonna be able to do is you're gonna be able to size up your Christmas tree, and it's gonna be a huge and cozy Christmas tree. That's what I love about these 2 stories high areas. I don't know if you like it too, but that's what I like. So that's what I did out here. We also do have 2 nights out here because I was trying to go for more expensive stuff because I still had some money to spend and I did not have any area to spend it in. And out here we have a little bit of like a hallway area. In here you can paint, you can access our nectar cellar, and you can go to Clifford's bedroom. In the Clifford's bedroom we do not have anything expensive except for this violin and this knight too, and some art of course, because art is expensive and it is a nice way to spend some money in the game. And in here we have a bed, in here we have an ottoman, we have a laundry box, and we have just some necessities for the bedroom too. And Clifford has a very nice view to his sunflower field, so I'm a little bit envious of you, Clifford, because I would like to live like that too. And also, from this tiny hallway, you can access Clifford's private bathroom. In here, he has a sink, a tub. Also, in here, he has some laundry, and in here, he has a toilet and a shower. So that is a nice area to have a bathroom for yourself. So I think that Clifford is going to be kind of happy with this house like that. And through our living room from here we can access second floor. On the second floor we have this like open area which is open to our dining area, and in here I decided to stick for us a hobby room. So in here we have a computer just in case you want to write some books, so that is why we have quite a bit of bookshelf out here, some decor around it. Also we have a candle making station and a fabricator just to embrace Annabelle's fabricating background. And from here we have our only hallway bathroom in this house, and you can also access Annabelle's bedroom. In Annabelle's bedroom we do have a little bit more expensive beds. We do have some decor again, we do have some nectars again, we do have a couple of closets, we also do have a rocking chair just in case you want to rock. I don't know how to say that. But anyway, out here we also do have a jewelry making station just in case she will want to embrace the new hobby, because we were not trying to make money with jewelry in this challenge, but we might also try. And through here we also can access this second bathroom, which is just Annabelle's ensuite. So this is just a 2 bedroom house and it has 3 bathrooms in this whole house, and both Clifford and Annabelle do have their own bathrooms, and also we do have a bathroom for guests in case we do have guests for just a short amount of time. And also through this hallway from which we were able to access Clifford's bedroom, we can access our backyard. In the backyard, we just have mostly decor. In here, I'm imagining like it's our old nectar making station, and it's some storage, now night, some nectars out here again, and out here we are gonna have like a potting kind of area. So in here we have a fireplace, and also in here we have an outdoor dining area, and that is actually it for our deck. And if you go downstairs, if you remember, in here we have our garden, and in our garden I kind of have decided to make it a death trap. So out here we have 6 skull plants. 6 it is. We have a couple of knights, we have a lot of gnomes, also we have some crops, some plants, we have some money trees because that is how we make money in the game. Of course, I did not use money trees to make money for Clifford and Annabelle, but we do have money trees out here. We have a flower arranging table out here in the corner, and we are growing everything. Like literally everything you might want is in this garden. Of course, except for some like pack specific kind of items, just because I did not bother to go and grab like everything from packs too. But I think that this garden can be kind of useful, and it has quite a bit of planters everywhere. Like if you don't want the crops, you can plant some stuff on there too. And these are hydroponic kind of planters, so I don't know exactly how they work because I usually don't use them because I usually use like stock garden stuff. And if you're wondering about this building, this is our tavern. Out here I was going for a little bit more of like modern farmhouse vibe. So in here, as you access, you can go either through this stair or through this stair. Anyway, you're gonna enter in the same spot. Out here we have a front deck with some kind of like outdoor living area in here. Also out here we have a hot tub just in case your sims want to relax. And out here on this side we have another open dining area with some nectar storage and some stuff like that. so that it just looks nice and cozy. And if you go and look in here, I absolutely love the way this area turned out to be, because that looks like a tavern I was imagining in my head. So I was very satisfied with the way this whole area looks. Out here we have a dance floor. Also, we do have this stereo out here. We have a night, tiny little singing area, a piano, of course, another night. Out here we have like a kitchenette, I would say, but that is actually bigger than our in-house kitchen. So out here you can absolutely cook. And also we do have a bar which I made kind of built in, and I think that that looks kind of nice too. And out here we have our entryway, just in case you want to stick your shit somewhere, look in the mirror, use the bathroom, because we have another one out here, or hang some of the clothes. I was just gonna imagine that that's all are just coats and ignores the pants that are out there. And that is actually it for the main house. And now some of the sneaky thing that I did out here just to waste a little bit more money. This. And this. Of course, I have started with this nectar seller because this one I liked maybe a little bit more, because this is what I started with. So out here, when you go through the ladder down into the nectar, and that is from our main house, in here we do have some like nectars ready to be drunk. But if you go through here, out here we have a nectar rack, we have some cobwebs, also we do have some decor. This I'm imagining is like nectar trying area, as I would say that. And if you go through here, we have our nectar making area. So maybe in all of these boxes that we have everywhere around here, we are storing grapes, and that is why we have that much hay, because we were literally bringing like fresh fruit down here with all of the straw that it has. And out here we have like this separate area to make nectars with a lot of racks, and we have a lot of hallways, and this is like an accounting table where we are literally storing the information about all of the nectars we are making, all of the stuff that we've got, and that is why, of course, we have quite a bit of stuff and trash everywhere around. But that is our like home cellar. But this cellar is for the tavern, so it's like a commercial cellar, I might say, because I'm imagining that if Clifford and Annabelle, they are hustlers, so this tavern, they might try and make money from that, because that is what they are all about. So out here in this like commercial cellar, we do have much more areas with nectars, and we do have like some more fancy decor like these nights, and we have it a little bit brighter because maybe, I don't know, we want to give a tour to somebody, and that is why we have a little bit more fancy of an area to try some nectars. We have some blankets out here in case somebody gets cold. We have an old nectar machine, like just to make it a museum probably. So this nectar cellar looks a little bit more fancy, and of course in some areas it does look like a maze, especially like this one, because it's very narrow in some areas. But in the same time, by the way, when I was trying to make this area, the game was getting so glitchy, so if there are some mistakes, I did not bother to fix them, because that would have been a little bit too annoying as for me. But as we go down here from the tavern, out here we have another nectar shrine area with just like proper nectarine area and a lot of stuff everywhere around. And of course, we do have a fire hazard in here because we have hay and a fireplace. So, of course, you seem might out of here, because otherwise that wouldn't have been a house that I have built. So I might now say that actually that is it for this build. That is it for this challenge. I might thank you for working this challenge through with me if you did. If you did not, you can go back and you can watch that. Sometimes it is getting a little bit slow and boring, I might warn you. But in the same time, it was a fun challenge to try. It was a fun challenge to do. Of course, I was changing plans all the time. But in the same time, I think that it turned out to be kind of nice. So I think that now I'm gonna probably thank you for watching. And if you like videos like that, you can probably subscribe to my channel. And I think that this should probably be a goodbye. So bye guys.